Hey everyone, Shoe Shack Redemption back for the 2004 off season after coming off the ninth straight championship for the Pacers, and we've got what should be an interesting off season here because the Bobcats are here. I already mentioned in the last video what my thoughts were regarding who I'd protect. We'll get to that first. But first, there was a couple things I wanted to show. One, there were some key retirements. Only one Hall of Famer, and that's Arvydas Sabonis, who played since he was the number one pick in 1986. So that was the third draft we did. He played for the Hawks for quite a bit, then the Sixers, then the Heat, and then wrapped up with the Magic, all playing good amount of minutes. So a good career for Arvydas. Somehow his jersey number didn't get retired in Atlanta, but whatever. Reggie Miller's did, and as you can tell, that means Reggie did not make the Hall of Fame. I thought his number would actually get retired for the Pacers and the Grizzlies, but because he actually played one more season for the Grizzlies, but didn't have quite as much impact, I guess, scoring-wise, or making all-star teams or winning championships. So I guess that's why the difference, but at least the number 31 is hanging from the rafters. In Indy, the Bobcats are here, a couple logo changes. The only rule, or the only change, was we approved the Bobcats. New divisions are here. So the Bobcats now enter here in the southeast. The Hornets moved to the west after being in the east. That's that. We did get through the lottery, and we had chance number 1 and then 3 through 8 or 3 through 9 or something like that. And we did end up with a number 1. The only big difference was I think this spot and this spot like swapped. So the Timberwolves pick actually got better, so it doesn't matter. Pacers own both of them. And then they slot in the Bobcats automatically at number 4. So we have 7 of the top 10. And now here we are to the point where we need to protect some players. So it automatically chose some for us. For some reason it's saying not to protect Dirk Nowitzki. That seems kind of silly. He's the third best player, tied for second. He still has one more year left. Maybe that's why they're saying that. It's a player option too. But what I was thinking is say no to Richardson and yes to Dirk, and that's pretty much. Oh no, and also no to Tony Parker and protect Yao. So the reason I'm doing this is because I think they'll take the best overall, which I guess they'll choose between Richardson and Nash. Nash is not getting better. He's kind of stuck. He's now 30 years old. He's only got 1 year left. Tony Parker's about to be just as good as him probably once we get to progression, although Parker's not been very good when he's played. But my hope is that they'll take Richardson. I could risk it and leave Bosch probably unprotected and then just hope they take the best overall person, but I'd rather keep Bosch. Richardson's entering the last year of his rookie deal, surely going to want a lot of money after that, so if we kept him, I'd probably end up trading him anyway or looking to trade him. So my thought is to protect these 8 and see what happens. If Nash gets gobbled up by the Bobcats, we finally get to start Gary Payton at point guard again. And then Wade will probably start with Kobe. We get a little weaker, but we still have Tony Parker. If they take Richardson, I'm just going to need to get another wing, probably, like a small forward type that can play, because then it would just be Kobe. I don't really want to play Wade at small forward, and Korver doesn't look like he's ready to play based on my team. So we're gonna protect these 8, and right, because we can't do more than that. I think it'll tell me if you want to submit. I don't know why it allows you to select more than 8. That seems kind of silly. If 8's the limit, then why doesn't it just stop you at 8? All right, we're going to do this and then see what happens. Oh boy. All right, be interesting to see who the other teams don't protect. The other thing I wanted to show. There were two things regarding staff. One is, if you recall, which I don't know how many people have actually watched every single one of these videos, but when we lost Don Nelson as our coach, he left to the Raptors as an expansion team in '95. Well, he was a free agent, or his contract came up. Now Bernard King is the Raptors coach. However, Don Nelson's now the coach of the Bobcats, so I guess he has a reputation for being a team rebuilder. So he's going to be an outstanding coach, I'm sure. They got Hakeem Olajuwon to be their assistant, so that's pretty cool. And then the other thing, if you recall, the Trailblazers drafted LeBron as the number 1 pick last year. Their head coach is worthless. He has zero talent whatsoever. Don't know what that's about. But one of their assistant coaches is pretty good. Michael Jordan, with his hair, is a big man coach, which makes no sense. But he doesn't have any badges other than former player, so he's not very good as a coach. But I just thought it was funny that Michael Jordan's an assistant coach for the team LeBron's on. They also have this random, sort of looking like Charles Barkley guy that's named Charles Barkley. I don't know if anybody else has noticed when they put created players into the coaching options, coaching candidates, they don't look like what you created them. So they don't even stay the same skin color in some instances, so it's kind of interesting. But Charles Barkley is a perimeter D coach, which is kind of laughable as well. Maybe you switch these and it makes sense, but neither of them are very good. So just wanted to show that off. Now let's see if the Bobcats will take either Jason Richardson or Steve Nash. I'm assuming it will be the first pick regardless of who they take. And it is Jason Richardson, so he played for the Bobcats at some point. They also got Fred Jones, Darko, who was pretty high. I think he was the 10th pick last year. Rafe, Eton, they're getting all the big guys now. They still need a point guard. Josh Howard was a rookie last year. There's Marcus Banks, he was a rookie. Troy Hudson, Stephen Hunter, Raja, he was one of the Suns' better players. Moshe Parker, Matt Barnes. So, not terrible for as far as expansion teams go. It looks like Jason Richardson's going to average about 32 points per game, maybe. But they also have the 4th pick, so they'll get some help there. Plus, some of these guys, like Fred Jones, doesn't have a contract. Neither does Reggie Evans. So they all have options, and they can decide to decline those options potentially. So that'll free up roster spots for them. But Jason Richardson, thanks for your service here in Indy, and good luck in Charlotte. Now we get to the draft, where again we have a ridiculous amount of draft picks. One thought I had is after we draft Dwight Howard, because I did decide it's hard to have the number 1 pick and not get Dwight Howard, I need to free up some space in the post. So I'm thinking it would be Powell, because he, like Richardson, is about to enter his last year of his rookie contract and then want a whole lot of money. So I think we might trade Powell either during the draft or once we hit free agency. And I know after, well, I can't trade him yet because he doesn't have, it's not until I accept his team option that I can trade him. So I don't think anybody will get traded during the draft. Because who would I trade? Keeping Peyton, Kobe, Shaq, Wade, Bosh, Nash, I could. I mean, I just kind of risked him to the Bobcats, so I could see what Steve Nash could get us, but I could also wait to see what Steve Nash together with Pau Gasol could get us. Because that's $12 million that could get a really good player like these other guys that are making about that same amount of money. So that could be interesting. Maybe look around to see some star players we haven't had on the team before. The main guy that comes to mind is Jason Kidd, although that kind of ruins my thought of letting Gary Payton actually be a point guard. But let's go ahead and draft Pacers are on the clock. We're getting trade offer. No, we're not. Okay. But we can see, just for fun, what does the first pick get us? Oh, wow. Nobody wants it. What if we give Steve Nash with it? Nobody wants it. All right. Nobody wants Dwight Howard, so we're just going to go ahead and draft him. Let me go ahead and familiarize myself with who else we're looking at, as we have 6 more picks in the top 10. Iggy would be somebody I'd be interested in, but it looks like he's probably going to the Bulls at number 2. Otherwise, who? I don't know how many people I'm actually going to want. Josh Smith would be interesting from like a defensive and athletic standpoint. Let's see what it says. All-star ceiling starter. But I guess for now we'll just go with Dwight. Ceiling is all NBA. So ceiling is not Hall of Fame, even though I think he'll make it in real life. You can't be Defensive Player of the Year, what, 3, 4 times, whatever he got it, and not be a Hall of Famer, I don't think. His standing dunk says is 99. That's probably about right. All right, Dwight, welcome to the Pacers. We don't get to see him. For some reason, user-controlled teams don't get to see their draft picks. You see like a flash of them as it moves to the next one, but the Bulls do get Iggy. I forget who else is on their team. But, oh, they're the team that had like no scoring whatsoever. Not that Iggy's much of a scorer either, but he was more so earlier in his career. All right, hopefully I get some trade offers for, oh man, for some of these picks. Otherwise, this is going to be a longer video. So that trades me back 6 to get an extra first. That's looking pretty good. And the Sixers, they have Allen Iverson, not much else. But can I trade, oh my god, I have so many. Can I trade it with something else? No. What if I add Steve Nash? No. Okay. Well, let's see who's there. Overall wise, if we end up trading Nash, we might or might not need some point guard depth. Nelson's probably my favorite of these guys here, but he's not supposed to go till after the lottery. Tony Allen would be interesting, because I'm always looking for some guys that don't have to have the ball in their hands, because I have enough of those. But he's also like late lottery. JR, the only guy with a real picture, because for whatever reason he wasn't in the draft class. I think it's because he was added to the game later on. I think at launch he was not on the game. Could be wrong. Which is kind of what happened with Luol Deng, except we can't find him on the game to actually copy him over. Smith or Deng would be fine, but they're also later on. I don't think I want any of these guys that are supposed to go to like top 5. I definitely don't need Okafor. I kind of hope that he goes to the Bobcats. That'd be fun. I think Okafor and Richardson were teammates with the Bobcats for a little while. And the only other center is Biedrins. Is that true? I thought there was another. Is there not one more? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm doing that trade that the Sixers popped up. We'll see if we can get any more from them. They have Iverson and these guys for a little while. Serbiak had a good year, I think. Yeah. But Tumbo tried to retire, I believe, so he's going into his last year. It's a decent looking team. Good coach. Got some good role players. They just need kind of a second threat with Iverson, which they might get here with the 3rd pick that I'm giving them. Can I take anything else from them? What about all those? No. No. What about if I change it to 1.5? No. Well, what if I give you one of these? Really? That's interesting. don't mind working my way up here till I find one that you want. Maybe this 19 will do it. 13 seems like a little much. No? Okay. Well, do I want their 05? They have Iverson. I kind of would rather have this one. Is there any chance you'll give me... Let's try this. Wow! Now they won't even do pretty much what they were saying they would do. Okay, try it again then. It's 05. So trading back 6 to pick up an extra next year. That's fine based on my team. Alright, Sixers will get Okafor, so he doesn't get to go to the Bobcats. But Iverson gets that low post threat he probably needs. Bobcats get Devin Harris. So Harris will be their point guard. The backcourt of Devin and J. Rich. Not bad. So this is pick number 5. It says Ben Gordon or JR. Livingston, Ben Gordon, JR. Well, I don't want either of those. I can trade back 10 and pick up another next year, or trade back 9 and pick up another next year. Well, who's worse? The Hornets have Big Dog for one more year. Terry's pretty good. And they were obviously worse this year because they have the higher pick. The Mavericks have Page as a free agent. They've got Joe Smith and Vin Baker. They look worse, maybe. Because I don't see anybody on this list that's going up anymore, whereas Jason Terry might still on the other side. So let's see if they'll entertain 2. Alright, we'll try this again. Probably not going to work. I guess I can also do the trade finder on both of those, but nothing pops up. Alright, what if I go to the Mavericks and I do 15 and that? No? Okay, well I don't want to pick up more picks, so I guess I'm just going to have to do again what they wanted. So trade back 10, pick up 1 next year. We'll get that too. No. Of course they, again, won't do actually what they said they would do. Alright, Ben Gordon goes to Dallas. Now we're hoping the Hornets trade will still pop up here. So now who's at the top? It's JR and Childress, Livingston, JR, and Jefferson. Corver. So there's the pick. That's what we were trying for. So let's go ahead and do that. Al Jefferson's in Charlotte, but New Orleans. That's confusing. Did they really not change the jerseys when they shifted to New Orleans? I didn't realize that. Or they just didn't update it here. I don't know. Alright, so now it's Childress, Smith. Oh no, that's not right. Smith, Childress, Livingston, Smith, Childress. So I still don't want any of those guys. 7th for 2 firsts from the Lakers. I would rather search around for somebody that's bad that we can steal some, maybe like next year or 07. 05 is Chris Paul, 07 is KD. So find some bad teams like the Kings. 07. Probably gonna have to do proposed trade. 7th. let's just go through. The Bulls were awful, but they just got Iggy, which isn't a huge game changer. Now they have good wing defense, Iggy and Bowen. Cavs are not good either. We can't trade with them, though, for 07. Michael Redd just led the league in scoring. The Jazz are pretty awful. But we already have their 06. Or, well, somebody does. I assume it's me. But this is a team that we can do this. 07, 08. They say no. Now they'll probably say yes. Yeah. Alright, well, at least we cleared up another pick. Sean Livingston. Alright, well, that's not going to make them better. Livingston, who knows what his career could have been, but it acted like it was going to give me trade offers. Smith Childress, Smith Childress, Smith Childress. Still don't want either of those guys. Now we're to the point where we're going to have to propose every time, probably. Well, I don't know. It changes every time, so. Find bad teams. McGetty just averaged a whole bunch of points. I guess that doesn't mean they're good. They were bad. So maybe we can do that. No, we can't. We have just so many of the future draft picks. We're just owning entire drafts. Yeah. This is getting harder. The Suns were not very good. The Spurs were better than I thought they would be. Rockets got mellow. The Nuggets are, well, that's who I just beat in the finals. Nets are decent. Lakers are who was offering before. Knicks look kind of okay. So do we just try? We can't. We're just going to have to find somebody that wasn't great. 07. Okay, so they're freed up. We can't do 05, but we can do 07 and 08. So now we'll give them that. All right. Chris Humphries to Boston. Well, he wasn't one of the top guys, so it's getting harder and harder to trade for future picks because of the rule where teams can't trade back-to-back picks. So Sixers I still can. Bucks, they still have theirs as well. We can't do, because they don't have their 06. Okay, let's just go through here then. Wizards we can do, but they're really good. They've got Ray Allen and T-Mac. The Bulls are not good. We can do them. Hey, Lil Dang's on the Bulls. That's fun. He also skipped above some guys who were projected. That was somebody I wouldn't have minded having. Now that I lost Richardson. Now it's the guys I was thinking about, potentially. Josh Smith, Tony Allen, and Jameer Nelson. The highest any of them are 10th. And we are on the 9th pick. Oh no, we're on the 10th pick. So do we just draft one of them? How many spots on my team do I have? That's full. We have Penny and Richardson spots opened up. Pippen did not retire, so we might bring him back, not sure. Those guys still have options. We don't have enough roster spots. Until we trade Powell, we don't have roster spots for rookies. We could also do Korver. Does Korver get anything? Can I trade? Okay, I trade him with a pick for Pat Garrity, with a second rounder for 2 firsts. That's interesting. That opens up a roster spot to just draft, I guess, Josh Smith or Tony Allen. I can also wait to trade after I have all these people and I can figure out what I'm doing. So I have 10th, 11th, and then not 12th. Josh Smith's going pretty soon. Tony Allen goes 12th or 15th. Jameer's later on. So I think I just go ahead and get Josh Smith. See if anybody... Nope. Alright, so now Josh Smith potentially takes Pippen's spot. Although, how many 30-year-olds? I've got Nash, Peyton, and Shaq as my veterans. So that's like the main reason I wanted to keep Pippen around till he retired, was he brings his 17 badges and 38-year-old leadership. So Smith, if he slots in for Pippen, we already got Dwight. Let's say he takes over for Richardson. So Hardaway's spot is the only one we have left, which would mean Tony Allen would take that. And then we trade everything else. Oh boy. What is Nash? Did I already try this? Oh, it didn't work before. I can get Mecca Okafor or Iggy. I can get the second pick with Steve Nash. Anton Jamison, Mighty Mouse. Devin Harris was the 4th pick. I'm going to wait until Gasol's tradable to do that. So do I risk it? Do I trade this pick, and then if Tony or Jameer goes, I just get whoever's left at 13? I think that's what I'm going to do. Jameer I only want if I trade Steve Nash. Alright, we got to propose the 11th for somebody that has 2 picks they can trade. The Sixers were one of them. The Bucks cannot. Well, they can trade that one, but I don't want to have to trade more in this draft. The Bulls, we already took everything they had pretty much. The Cavs. The Clippers were pretty good, but probably getting worse. Most of these teams where the firsts are missing. The Pacers own the picks, so it's craziness. The Mavs are an option. I just took their 04 and 05. So Mavs, the Rockets look like a decent option. I can't take their 05. Who's on the Rockets? Carmelo. So depending on who they put around him, he may average a whole bunch of points, like he already averaged 24 as a rookie. But they probably still won't be good. So let's try 07, 08. Oh, I did not expect them to do that without me having to trade another pick. And they got Sebastian Telfair. Alright. The Bucks get JR. So now I have my choice between Tony Allen and Jameer. I think Tony Allen's the way I'm going to go. Because if I don't end up trading Steve Nash, Jameer's like the 4th point guard. It says he's 70. also doesn't have any stats. Don't they usually have college stats? It's interesting. B at perimeter D, terrible at threes, evidently. Versus Tony Allen. A plus perimeter D, also terrible at threes. Does he have any college stats? Evidently that's not a thing. Alright, we're going to go with Tony Allen. With Gary Payton in the twilight of his career. They're not even the same position. I mean, Payton's been starting at shooting guard, but he's still technically a point guard. Alright, first pick we've had trade offers for. There's the Sixers 2 picks. That looks pretty good to me. There's Dang. Do I want Dang more than Tony Allen? Well, I already got Josh Smith too, so probably looking at those Sixers picks. Nets wouldn't be terrible. The Sonics have Tim Duncan. The Blazers have LeBron. The Hornets are an option. The Raptors have Manu and not much else. So that's probably the way to go. Raptors now have Josh Childress to be Manu's backup, I guess. Alright, down to the last 3 picks here. We're not using them. The Hawks will give us 2 and the Lakers will give us 2. What if we do both? No? What if we do those 2? No? Alright, back to propose then. 15th, the Sixers are one of the teams entertaining this. There we go. They can have Trevor Ariza. Kevin Martin goes to the Spurs. Sasha to the Pistons. Biedrins to the Lakers. Can we get through the top 20 with all real people? That would be an accomplishment. The 19th, a pick swap. Lakers, Nets. There's 2 first, so let's do that. You can have that 05 second round. And you can draft Delonte West. He's going to Seattle. Alright, Jameer goes to the Nets, right around where he's projected. Bino to the Sixers. We have a trade now. The Bulls. I don't know who's getting what, so I don't even know what team is coming in. The Jazz just traded a future first for this first to get Chris Duhon. Royal Ivy to the Sixers. First fake guy goes 24th to the Hawks. Anderson Varejão's in Boston. The fake Ekpe Udoh is in Sacramento. Darrell Wright to the Warriors. Fake, fake, fake. We're into the second round. I don't know how many real people are left. Probably only a couple, if any. Maybe none. Might have been a pretty short list of people. Looks like a bunch of fake people. Stefan Hasselhoff got picked. Alright. So there we go. It says Dwight's an 82. Okafor is an 80. So we got Allen, Smith, and Dwight. Pretty good class, I would say. We'll get all 3 of those. We will accept all of those. We will see that Jason Williams declined his player option. Will he leave Orlando? We will see. Any other declines? Hudson, so Bobcats freeing up a roster spot there. Wait, we can go by team, right? I want to see what the Bobcats did. They declined 7 of them. The only one they accepted was Jason Richardson. who was the 7th pick. Troy Hudson, so he had one just from his whatever extended contract. Fred Jones didn't even make it into the 3rd year of his rookie deal, although he was pretty good for Milwaukee. Stephen Hunter was entering the last year of his deal. He wasn't bad either. Boss John shot terribly. Matt Barnes doesn't even get picked up. Reggie Evans, the rebounding machine. And Smush. So Bobcats will have a lot of money to play with. Not that these guys were much salary space that they were taking, but whatever. Alright, qualifying offers, we have none to make. The free agents here, we've got Sean Bradley, possibly staying with the Mavericks. Not a deep center list here, or not much at the top, I guess. Chris Webber is the main guy people are going after. The Bobcats trying to steal him, along with half the rest of the teams in the league, but at the top is his current team, the Warriors. Jermaine would be a good consolation prize for somebody. If the Magic lose Jermaine and Jason Williams, they've got a whole lot of rebuilding to do. Garnett's here in 5th position. Kenyon's restricted. Sharif possibly moving to Detroit to join Jason Kidd there. Grant Hill is 2nd. Peja Pippin's down here. Daniel Marshall has 2 offers already. Usually it's only at the top. Anybody else have some? Just restricted. So Daniel Marshall, a random target for teams. Ray Allen, he's been on the Wizards, and the Wizards are not on this list. So I guess they're ready to move on. He started with the Hawks, then they didn't match the offer from the Wizards. And now he's possibly joining LeBron in Portland. That would be fun. Really, really fun. Kenny Anderson doesn't like his offer. Alright, we have too many people on our team, so we have to do some trades, I think. We also can clear, well, what's it say? 3, 5, 8, 11. Oh, we do have 15 people? Because we lost Richardson, Pippen, Hardaway. And we drafted 3 guys. So yeah, technically we have now a full team. But if we go by position, we're a little crowded here in the front line. Front court, I mean. So, and Dwight can't be his number because John Stockton has that retired. But he can be 39. Oh, yeah. Alright, so if we keep Dwight, well, we have to keep Dwight because we can't trade him yet. Bosch is possibly moving to power forward. Yeah, that would make sense. And then Powell gets traded because there's no way we can pay him next year what he's going to want. Let's just see what pops up. Tony Kukoc, Gilbert and Artest. That's awful. Jameson, Jay, Joe Smith and Vin Baker. Stoudemire and Camby. Didn't realize they were on the same team, I don't think. It's the Raptors 95 and 96 picks. Caron Butler, Baron. Sonics trading me both their point guards, but they're trying to get Nash back. Blazers trying to build a super team around LeBron. Ben Wallace coming back, probably not. Bobcats will give me Richardson for Powell. Alright, let's just see what happens. Powell and Nash. Aranis and Artest. Jay and Zadrunas. Smith and Baker. That's awful. Point guards again, same thing. They give me Francis and Manu. What if I add in a first rounder that's not going to be good? Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is just go through the teams here and see, is there somebody that I've not had so far that I really want? And again, right now the name that comes to mind is Jason Kidd. He's one of the best in the league. We might be able to get him. I've not done a trade quite to that level in the 21 years we've done this, but it could be fun. I mean, kind of the point is to have the best team possible. The Knicks look like they're going to have some cap room to sign. The Kings are awful. Jazz continue to be awful. Hopefully they can get somebody to be better than Drew Gooden, because he's been their best player for way too long. And that's just the 2 years he's been playing. Oh boy, Celtics. Wow. Well, they've got the reserve power forwards and centers ready to go. But they really need to sign somebody. Bulls, Bowen, Iggy, and Dang. So, a little redundancy there, but good depth, I guess. McGrady's still an 81, but making $10 million. Our test would be interesting. He doesn't shoot very well. His threes are only 76. Sixers have most of a team. They just need a point guard, really. I mean, Ridnour's not bad. There's the Bobcats team for now. Somehow, so they got Raja, who is hurt. Grizz are left looking for more. Reggie retired and McDyess is a free agent. Magic's big guys or good guys are free agents. Yeah, I think what I'd like to be able to do is package multiple players for one player, and that makes sense to go for somebody that's better, which LeBron James would be interesting. That would fill my starting small forward position. Do I dare try that? Powell is technically better than him. He's 2 better than him. Do I dare? We couldn't get him last year. I don't think so. That's like going too far, right? It is more of the position I need than point guard. We've not had Duncan either, but I've got Dirk and Shaq, so that doesn't make sense. Spurs are awful. Melo. So this is where I was thinking. Because if we do propose trade and we click Jason Kidd and we click Pau Gasol and Steve Nash, what's it say? 1.63. So we got to add 1.63, which is almost a Kyle Korver. We could throw Boozer in, and then we just have to sign somebody. Boozer, Nash, and Powell. That looks like it should be a trade, right? Kidd's 4.5, Powell's 4, Steve's 3.5, Boozer's 2.5. The other option would be somebody that makes more, but I'm not trading any of these for. So Kidd would come over, Peyton would continue to start at shooting guard. We still wouldn't have very good three-point shooting because I don't think Kidd's super good at them. It says he's 88, so okay, he's better than the 34% he shot. That looked like an off year. He wouldn't have to shoot as much on my team. His tendency is currently a 63. There's no way that's averaging 20 points when you put it on my team. I'm trying this. We're going for it. Oh, he's untouchable. Is there any chance they do this? Powell's only 3 worse. I'm giving you a point guard to replace him. I guess technically power forward is not a position they need. Powell would probably start at center with Amare. And then Boozer, yeah, I'm giving them positions they don't need. Should I try LeBron? I feel like I'm going to try LeBron. Crazy things are happening. All right, someone we consider untouchable. Well, if I get LeBron, Korver's moving to shooting guard. Well, Kobe's moving to shooting guard. So then D-Wade and Allen are the depth. We got LeBron, Smith, Korver, Dirk, Bosch. So we could either trade Boozer and get a veteran to replace him, or Corver. We'll try Corver first. Might take both of them. I might not even have to trade two of them. I've got enough first round picks. What do they need? Oh, they've got a pretty good lineup. They need a small forward, so Corver would make sense. Boozer's probably more stars. Yeah, he's 2.5. Because Boozer's, well, he's going into his third year. So wouldn't have to trade him, but he's also not really going to play. What's his potential say? A minus. That's pretty good. Who else is good? The Blazers will be good, so you can have your pick back. Who else? The Warriors are good. Really? LeBron is that untouchable. He's not even 5 stars, but that's probably because he's only 85 overall right now. But I imagine he's about to go up at least 3, or around 3, maybe not at least 3, probably at least 2. Can I give you a better first? One that's... Which one's 2 stars? Any of them? The Bulls is 3 stars, but... The Kings is 2.5. Okay. Really? Okay. So we've got to do... somebody else that's more than 2 stars, probably. Oh my god, I just realized I have my own pick still. Oh my, that's worthless. Everybody's a star and a half, pretty much. The Mavericks are 2. What did I have on there? No, it was the Kings. Let's try Blazers. Really? Alright, well this is almost the best I can do. It's not working. LeBron James is that hard to get. I'd have to give up probably that Bulls pick, which could end up being Chris Paul, because they're really bad. Is there anybody else? The Sixers are 2 stars? No, that's a star and a half. I didn't click the Spurs. Alright, so there's 2.5. Was there another one? Hornets are 2. Oh man. So 2.5 and 3 2s don't do it. What if I give... Do I like Corver more? What was he? He's only a star and a half. I think I tried all of them. The only one that was better was the Bulls. Unless I go later. The Bucks is 2. What about the Jazz? They were awful. Is that more? 2.5. What do I have on there? Hornets? 2 2.5s and 2 2s. This still doesn't work. I have all these firsts. Wow. I mean, I definitely thought it was going to be possible. Not gonna lie. Do I have another 2.5? 06, I don't mind losing more of the picks because there's not really anybody I'm really hunting for there. It's like Rudy Gay, Brandon Roy, Aldridge, Rondo, those guys. So maybe it'll take that Bulls pick. But Chris Paul was kind of my answer. If I'm not trading for Jason Kidd, Chris Paul's my thought to replace Gary Payton eventually. That's the thought there. Alright, seems like this is not happening. So, I think we will see what can happen here. So it had to be Nash and Boozer, right? Because I don't think Korver's enough. No. Boozer is. Alright, so it has to be Kidd's the same amount of stars as LeBron. Making more money, so you'd think that would make it easier to get him, but he is 5 better, so maybe not. He's 3 better than Powell. We're giving them a point guard to replace him. Now we'll try the Warriors and the Supersonics and the Nuggets made the finals, but I don't feel like their team is going to be better than the Blazers. Wow, okay. Well, now we can go back to the Hornets were 2-star. And the Mavericks were 2-star. And then the Kings were 2.5. Okay. This is fun, right? Let's do Mavericks. Alright, so that's... I have to trade those top 3 for the contracts to work out. I'm not as opposed to trading the Bulls pick here because I'm getting Jason Kidd and won't need Chris Paul. There was, what was it, the Jazz pick in 06. That is 2.5. Oof. Thought there was a chance there. Thought there was a chance. I could also just go into the season with this team and try it more. Like, if either of these teams is struggling, they might be more willing to sell a large contract like Jason Kidd. The Pistons have been the 8 seed, I think, the last 2 seasons. So it's not like they're winning right now. Alright, let's try, I guess, the Bulls pick. It is 3 stars with 2 1.5 stars. Okay. With 2 stars and a 1.5 stars. No. What about 2 2 stars? Really? So I wonder if I put this King's pick on here. That's the best I can do without adding another first. Alright, will this work? One more first? No. What about a 2 star? Really? The only thing I have worth more is also the Jazz next year. This is the absolute best offer I can make, guys. Still no. That is craziness. I thought for sure 2K would accept something like this. How is this not a trade? I guess Jason Kidd is like tied for the second best player in the league, but he's on an underachieving team. Can I still see intel? Who's selling? Nobody? Nobody? Nobody sells in the offseason? The Blazers say they're contending. Well, they were the 6th seed and made it to the Western Conference Finals. The Pistons say they're buying, and they say Jason Kidd's untouchable. So I feel like I'm either going into the season with this team, or I'm at least trading. God, I have to trade Powell at some point before next offseason. I tried him and Nash already. What do him and Korver get me? I wouldn't mind opening up a roster spot for an older guy. I don't really need Stoudemire unless Nash is getting involved in the trade. Alright, let's try all 3. No, not really. Mike Bibby. Blazers are really going all in here, it seems. Which makes sense with their team. Alright, I didn't try Boozer alone. I guess he could be the one going out instead of Powell for now. If I can get a first and like a veteran that can mentor my guys, there's 2 firsts. I'm just not sure I can sign anybody. I'm sure I'm at the hard cap, but I don't get to know that until I go in and try to sign somebody. I guess I can go in and try to sign somebody. Blazers. These are all younger guys. Bobby Jackson. I didn't try. What if I try Gasol and that pick that is 2.5 stars? Not much difference, actually. Interestingly enough. Well, I guess I really thought I was going to end up trading Pau Gasol. But Kidd and LeBron are like the only guys that kind of make sense in some crazy way to try to target. There's not many people in the league better than Pau. But I've got way too many people. None of these guys can play small forward. So I got 7 guys. Boozer doesn't really need to play, but he's probably going to go up 2 or 3. We're stuck still with Peyton probably starting a shooting guard. Unless if Wade goes up 3, Nash probably is coming off the bench. We'll start Peyton, Wade, and Kobe. And then backups would be Nash. Then Parker is expendable. Or Nash, I guess. Backups are Nash. Ooh. I don't know which of those guys is playing. That's why I want to trade. I need to trade for a wing player. Powell or Boozer needs to turn into a wing player. But there's just nobody. Okay, so I can't get LeBron. Karan's not good enough to aim for yet. Wing player, wing player, wing player. Battier. Be a good defender that could play and not take many shots. We've had Vince Carter. We don't need more shooting. Big dog would be fun to have. He probably shouldn't still be 88 overall. I'm pretty sure he's like on his way out at this point almost. Might have played another season or two. But that would take a lot to get him to. Oh, Mashburn. Get Richardson back. I need a wing player. I mean, I guess if I'm playing Nash a whole bunch, Peyton's playing most of the mostly shooting guard, then I could leave Parker in the rotation. I could probably make it work. I go 9-man without a backup small forward. But that means Dwayne Wade has to play small forward, which I was trying to avoid. T-Mac scores too much. Bruce Bowen would be interesting. Boozer and Nash to get Bowen. I feel like it wouldn't take that. Can I trade Boozer and Corver? Bruce Bowen. He's 33. He's probably going to go down. I could also just try to re-sign Scottie Pippen. That's probably the best idea, but I still have to free up a roster spot. Because then I get somebody older with... Well, Bowen has just as many badges, actually. He's 94 at threes. He's 87 at defense. 99 at help. Not very consistent. That's an option. I need to go see if it'll allow me to sign somebody, because it might say I cannot. Go ahead and try Pippen. I have bird rights for anybody else. It's just him, right? He will almost take the minimum. It says I can offer him. Which would mean well, let's wait to see if he accepts. And then we will trade probably Boozer just into cap space. Was that an option before? Was anybody giving me just picks? The Nets will. The Nets will give me 2 firsts and the Blazers. So we will target the Nets probably with Boozer. And then we can figure out the Gasol situation at the deadline. That's going to take a while, I'm sure. Because nobody's going to fit this team better than Pippen, probably. He's the only guy we can give more than the minimum to, so. Renounce, yes. It says we'll take him over the hard cap. I just wanted to click it to find out. So I can't sign him then. Until he wants the minimum, maybe. But even then, probably not, because it's only if I need to get to 14 players. Oh, boy. Well, either way, we can get rid of that. Let's just see what happens once we get past the moratorium. Let's see where these guys are possibly going. Jermaine O'Neal. The Magic are not on this list, so Magic might be just rebuilding completely. Grant Hill to the Pistons, that's fun to think about. Jason Williams, Magic are also not going, so I wonder if the Magic got somebody else. They had to spend their money somewhere. It says Pippen signed. Is it true? It is true. So now we have 16 players. We need to trade probably Carlos Boozer, but let's see if anything changes now that teams have some different players. I'm guessing I'm not going to be satisfied with any of these Gasol trades. So I think I'll just go for Mr. Boozer. See if the Nets are still giving 2 firsts, and they are. So are the Blazers, but they have the LeBron James. So the Nets, they're pretty good. Oh my God, they just got Ray Allen. Look at this team. Stoudemire, Ray, Brand, and Camby. And they drafted Jameer Nelson. So point guard, they're loaded. Because Terrell Brandon was 6th man of the year 2 years ago. So not great picks, but 07 is a few years down the line. They could be worse. Who knows? Probably not. But I'm giving them Elton Brand's backup. Alright, so now I've got a full team. We've got Korver's more or less the 3rd shooting guard. Bosch is more or less the 3rd power forward, although once we trade Gasol, that'll change. This team is stacked. McDyess possibly going to a new team. He's been on the Grizzlies. They're not even on the list. Grant Hill, now there's a competition for him, and the Pistons are not one of them. Okay, well, I'm not signing anybody, so we can just move along here. I am interested where Garnett goes. Looks like he's going back to Seattle. Peja's been on Dallas. The Wizards or Magic might grab him. Alright, 77's top of the list now, so we are chipping away. Googs is the top of the list. Now it's George Lynch, so a bunch of guys just got gobbled up. Earl Boykins is down there. He scored like 25 on me in one game. Alright, let's take a look at progression. Go position by position. So GP went down 2. We figured at some point, I mean, he is 36 now. He's got to start going down. Parker does officially pass Steve Nash, going up 4. He's getting much better at shooting, thankfully, because he's been really, really bad when he has played. So this again makes Steve Nash, one of them, expendable, I guess. Whoever has more stars, probably. Because Parker's going to be due for an extension after this year as well. I'm sure he'll want way too much money. His defensive consistency is going up. Peyton's mostly just going down in the athletic abilities. His free throws actually went up. Dwayne Wade just went up 5, so I think he's definitely starting, guys. I think he's my starting shooting guard now. Oh my. My oh my. Still not. I'm not happy with the backcourt three-point shooting with Peyton and Wade. I like having Steve Nash out there more often, but I think we need Dwayne Wade to be out on the court. His defense is getting great. Oh boy, Dwayne Wade. We just drafted Tony. Kobe went down 1. He did miss about 20 games again. Pippen down 2. Korver up 3. We just drafted Josh Smith. Gonna have to fix some numbers, I see. Kobe did get better at some things. Pippen got worse at just about everything. I was hoping Kobe would get better at defense because he's really not that good at it for some reason. It's probably his lateral quickness that's the worst. And it's getting worse. Pippen's is 46 now. Neither of them have intangibles. That's cool. Dirk went up 1. Gasol did not move. That's weird to see. I thought that would make it easier to trade. He did go up in some things, down in a few others. Interesting. Huh. I was actually afraid Powell might pass Dirk. Shaq stayed put. Yao's as good as him now. Bosch goes up a couple. Shaq's going up at 3s. Please stop. Go up at things that I want you to go up in. Perimeter D, that's not one of them. Passing's probably not one of them. At least he stayed put. Durability continues to go down. That's hurtful. So now we don't have anybody at 90 overall. We got 3 at 88 and 4 at 87. Super loaded team. Now let's go through the league and see what changed and who went up and down. Amari Stoudemire is amazing now. Kidd stayed at 90. Abdurrahim, they did get him. They also got, oh, they already had Olo Candy. So their shooting guard looks like Sasha as a draft pick is going to be starting at shooting guard. Interesting. That's what they're missing. Rockets still have their 3 wing players. Not much else going on in the form of help for Melo. But he did go up 4. Karan went up 3. The Spurs are awful. Rodney Rogers is still their best player. That's not good. The Suns still have Jamal Crawford and not much else. Jefferson actually went down 1 for some reason. Robert Orr just keeps jumping around teams. Barbosa went up 3 down there. The Sonics kept Garnett, so they kept their team intact. They still have Kemp down here. Garnett actually went up 1, it says. Michael Finley jumps over from the Raptors. So they are missing a shooting guard, but I guess Finley could probably start there. Or they could start Miller and Davis, I guess. Davis, well, they're kind of the same size. Blazers didn't add anything, but their guys all went up. LeBron up 5, these guys all up 1. So at center, looks like it'll still be McGlure. So they bring back their starters and their 6th man. So they're going to be a contender again. The Warriors did keep Weber. They have Wallace still. Carter went down 1. So their starting lineup stays the same, but they get Keith Van Horn from New Orleans to be their 6th man, it looks like. The Heat, Rashard Lewis did not go up. Guys, he just averaged 26.5 points, and he's staying at an 82 overall. Okay. Gerald Wallace, so their top 2 players are the same position. Then they got 2 centers. Then they got 2 power forwards. They seem to be slacking in the guard category. Hornets, well, we just saw Big Dog as an 88, but it doesn't say he went down, so that must have just been based on coaching and morale and stuff. Jason Terry up 1. Eddie Jones leaves the Nets for the Hornets. They're missing a center. Al Jefferson, maybe. For the Magic, Turkoglu is now their best player, so they did indeed lose Jermaine and Jason Williams. Turkoglu is probably going to average about 25 now for this team. They got a fake center in the middle. Not looking good for Orlando. The Wolves have 5 players, and 2 of them are real. That's not good. They're about to have the number 1 pick, possibly. Until we see the Bulls, probably. Raptors, Manu stays at an 84. He went up a few last year, but now he stays put after averaging 17 points and winning Most Improved. They are the team that got White Chocolate away from the Magic, so they get someone to run the show. They don't have a power forward. Nene could be it, I guess, with Brad Miller at center. The Grizz get Jermaine to replace McDyess. So Jermaine and Mashburn, not a bad duo, but not much around them. Mo Williams went up a couple, so he can shoot better than 34% probably. Here's what the Bobcats end up with. They don't make a huge splash in free agency. I think Swift, I don't remember him getting drafted, but maybe he did. No, because he would have been a free agent after 4 years. So their starting lineup, they don't have a small forward. It could be Bell or Richardson or Josh Howard. Went up 1. Not terrible as an expansion team. Tim Duncan's still the best player in the league, by the way. Iverson stays at an 87. They did get Sean Bradley from Dallas. They didn't really need Battie and Bradley, I don't think. Weren't they both the top centers in free agency? Pretty sure. But they also still have Smokey Walker and drafted Okafor, so their GM is not very smart. They also still have Mutombo. So instead of getting a point guard to run next to Iverson, they just kept getting more big guys. Bucks, Gilbert goes up 5 after averaging 25 points per game. He passes Ron Artest as their best player, but not much else going on for them. 3 centers in a row. All very similar types, I would say, as well, like defensive, strong guys. McDyess, so the Wizards lose Ray Allen and get Antonio McDyess next to T-Mac, who did go up 1 at least. Cassell's down 1, so decent looking lineup here for the Wiz. The Bulls will keep being awful. Dooling went up 1. They drafted Dang and Iggy. Not good. The Cavs still have Tyson Chandler as their best player. That's not good. The Celtics got Kenny Anderson, brought back Michael Redd, stole away Mo Peterson. These guys went up 3 each. They drafted Humphreys and Verjao, so not looking too bad in Boston, I guess. Clippers, pretty much the same people that I remember seeing on their team, but most of them are going down as they're older. Haslam went up a couple down there, though. For the Hawks, they still have Pierce and Jay Williams and Odom and Ilgauskas, so pretty much the same core. Jay went up a couple. The Jazz didn't get any better. Drew Gooden will continue to be their best player for, I guess, as long as he plays. He did go up a couple. He will continue to average 20 points a game, probably, because they do nothing to improve this team. Kings, hey, they got Peja. That's fun. So they take him away from the Mavericks. He's about to be their leading scorer by a lot, it looks like. Haywood, they already had. For the Knicks, they did bring back Kenyon. Stackhouse went down 1. Joe Johnson's now their best player. Heinrich goes up a couple after a good rookie season, so he's now there. Well, he probably already was their starting point guard. They also signed Antonio Daniels. For the Lakers, Billups goes up 1. They will continue to be a good team. Morning goes down 1. They brought back Danielle. Rip continues to just stay at a 78 overall, sadly. Mavs, they ended up getting Grant Hill, so after the Pistons fell out of the running, Grant Hill is on the Mavericks. So he replaces Peja. They still have Baker and Smith. Ben Gordon gets drafted to be their immediate starting shooting guard. They don't have a point guard. I guess it's Jacques Vaughn or Mike James. They got Penny Hardaway down here. Marion stays at a 77. This team made the biggest splash, I would say, by signing Ray Allen away from Washington. He will join Elton Brand, Stoudemire, and Camby. I traded them Boozer, so if they just get a small forward, which they don't have, I guess maybe Ron Mercer's starting the small forward. They got a bunch of fake guys down there as the other options. David Robinson still only went down one. He is 38 years old, still going strong. Marbury stays 84. They didn't do anything different to their team. And we're back to the Pacers. Alright, we will skip Summer League. We will look up where the 05 All-Star game was. It was in Madison Square Garden. We gotta worry about Kobe Garnett, evidently, whoever that is. Dwight Howard has sprained his ankle. We are in New York, not in Dallas. And we will load my 05. So the last two I've gotten done are 05 and 06. And my thought is, first of all, I'm out of spots to upload any more classes, and I already have a couple user IDs. So, So I think, and it might actually speed up the process. I think I'll stop spending so much time creating draft classes. I'll just use the auto-generated one or load somebody else's and not do any attributes or tendency changes, which will make it kind of interesting because I won't know how good the people are supposed to get. But that'll help me finish this before 2K24 comes out, is my thought. So let's do 5, and we get to see all the good names here. Charlie Villanueva scored 25 points. This was a close game, actually. Channing Frye, Chris Paul, Joe Green, Raymond Felton. That's Marvin Williams, Danny Granger, Martell Webster, Darren Williams down here going 2 for 11. Andrew Bynum, Nate Robinson, Hakeem Warwick, and Luther Head. On this side, Yakuba Diawara, Kalina Azubuike, Jan Mahimi, Hersan Ilyasova, Andrew Bogut, who was the real #1 pick, Ronny Turioff, Marcin Gortat, that's not Michael Redd. So, pretty decent draft class, and we advance. Alright, so here we are. Probably going to leave those guys on the untouchable. We're going to add Dirk to our target list. I am going to see if anybody wants to re-sign. Gary Payton will. Steve Nash still will. He prefers 2 years. I'm hoping Shaq will eventually. Payton wants quite a bit. We're probably going to not do that until next year, if at all. But Kobe and Shaq would be fun to extend. I'd like to keep them forever. I am going to go ahead, now that we are into the new year, see if these changed at all. Our test. I'm hoping that by the time we get to the trade deadline, there'll be some selling teams that I can play around with to try to move Gasol. There's Stephon Marbury. He wasn't up there before, I don't think. But it would still be really cool to try to get Mr. LeBron James. But nothing's looking great now, so we'll let... Now, the risk of doing this season or getting to the deadline is if people get hurt that I want to trade. But let me go ahead and see here. So we are going to make... Kobe goes down at shooting guard. Peyton goes down at shooting guard. Corver goes down at shooting guard. So we're just going to leave those guys, I guess, at shooting guard. Bosch goes up one, so we are going to make him a power forward. Because the centers are a little stacked. Yao is as good as Shaq. We are going to change some numbers here. 3, 4, he's going to be 39. It's a beautiful number. 8, 9, 11, 13, 16, 20, 26, 32. He cannot be 33 because Clark Kellogg is retired. Then I made him, he was 8 before for his Team USA number. Well, that's Kobe. I made him 3 at some point till I got Wade, and now he's 35. So he's going to stay 35. 5, I don't think I have someone, do I? Why can't he be 5? That's weird. I don't think I ever had a 5. I traded Boozer, he was 1, and then I traded Richardson was 23, Hardaway was 7, so I have no idea why he was that number. So there's the team. I'm probably going to go with the Peyton Wade backcourt, and then Nash can be the 6th man. But we'll see. We'll go ahead and look at the first mock draft here. Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Andrew Bogut. Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Andrew Bogut. Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Charlie Villanueva. And we have, well, you already saw how many picks we had. A whole bunch of them. Whole bunch of them. So very similar to last season. And we also have a whole bunch of 06s and a whole bunch of 07s. Oh my gosh, and a whole bunch of 08s. So we own every draft at this point. Again, if you ever want the trick, it's pretty much trade the people you're not using at the trade deadline for future firsts, and then trade your first during the draft for future firsts, multiple. So, and then that just compounds because your 1 pick turns to 2 and your 2 turns to 4. And after 20 seasons, you end up with like 20 first-round picks on every draft. Not realistic, but it happened. Free agents are probably awful. Yeah, okay. Well, I will stop there, and then we will go around and I'll fix some positions and numbers and stuff around the league, get the rotation ready and all that stuff, and then we will be ready to simulate the 04-05 season and try to get a 10th straight championship. Thanks for watching. Shoe Shack Redemption's out.